Have you ever walked into a room or opened up a Zoom and immediately felt the energy shift before even a single word was said? That is executive presence. And no, it's not about job titles or power blazers or whether your office has a door. It's about how you show up, how people experience you, and whether your presence reflects your purpose. As an executive assistant or admin, you already carry a level of presence because you operate at the intersection of leadership, logistics, and influence. You lead through alignment, not necessarily authority. You translate chaos into clarity. You're the one everyone turns to when things get complicated, and they usually are. So today I want to help you own and amplify that presence, not with fluff, but with 5 science-backed, experience-tested pillars. I call them the 5 C's of executive presence. They're clarity, capacity, commitment, curiosity, and connection. They're easy to remember, powerful in practice, and yes, 100% within your control. Let's start with clarity. In a world of vague emails, unclear priorities, and a constant shuffle of calendar invites, clarity is your power play. And I'm not just talking about writing clean meeting notes, though let's be honest, the world would crumble without your Outlook game. Clarity is about intention. It's saying, here's what matters, here's what needs to happen, and here's what's next. It's removing fog from the forecast, especially when your exec drops a last minute ask with 3 moving targets and no deadline. Here's a little neuroscience bonus. The brain hates ambiguity. It sees it as a threat, something unpredictable. When you bring clarity, you literally reduce threat response in others. That makes them more focused, more open to feedback, and more likely to trust you. I once worked with an EA who rewrote every vague leadership update before it went out to the company. And the exec would speak in abstract strategy, and she translated into action steps. And guess who had more executive presence in that moment? Exactly. So ask yourself before any interaction, what do I want them to know, feel, or do? Make that the headline, not the footnote. Next up is capacity. You don't need me to tell you that your job is emotionally intense. You hold space for other people's stress, absorb urgency like a sponge, and manage 42 things while smiling through a crisis. But executive presence doesn't mean never getting rattled. It means regulating your energy so people experience steadiness from you, even when your inbox is screaming. The brain's emotional center, the amygdala, gets triggered by stress. But your prefrontal cortex, where emotional regulation and decision-making live, can step in and calm the storm. That's executive presence in action. Not reacting from emotion, but responding with intention. Here's an opportunity. Take 60 seconds before a big meeting or a tough conversation to pause. Ground your breath. Remind yourself, I don't have to fix everything. I just have to guide the next best step. A senior admin once told me, if I lose my cool, the whole office spirals. So she kept a sticky note on her monitor that says, you're not the fire, you're the extinguisher. That mindset shift changed her tone, her timing, and the way people responded to her presence. Let's talk about commitment, because this one's often invisible but deeply felt. In your world, everyone's watching your follow through. You're the standard setter for professionalism, organization, and let's be honest, getting things done when no one else has a clue where to start. But it's not just about tasks, it's about values. Do you act in a way that reflects what you believe? When you say you'll follow up, do you actually do it? When you push for clarity, are you also modeling it? And the brain science, it is tracking your consistency. That's how trust is formed neurologically. Inconsistent behavior triggers the threat system. Consistent behavior builds safety, which leads to loyalty and influence. An admin I coached was fiercely committed to accuracy. She once caught a critical number error on a board report minutes before it went live. She didn't panic. She quietly corrected it and flagged it in a way that made her exec look good, not bad. That is commitment, not just to the job, but to excellence. So ask yourself, what am I showing I'm committed to today through my actions, not just my words? Let's shift gears and move to curiosity. If clarity is what you say and capacity is how you show up, curiosity is how you think. It's the difference between reacting with, that doesn't make sense, versus what might I be missing? Curiosity is the key to problem solving, conflict navigation, and understanding motivations across levels and personalities. In fact, curious people are rated as better listeners and more influential because they create space for others to share. And here's another little neuroscience bonus. Curiosity activates dopamine, the reward chemical. It fuels learning and creativity. It also makes your brain more elastic, which is critical in roles where you have to pivot constantly. Here's a shift you can try. Next time something frustrating happens, an unclear ask, a last minute reschedule, pause and say, I wonder what's really going on here. Curiosity calms judgment and sparks solutions. One admin told me once, I used to take every vague email personally. Now I assume confusion is just poor communication, not a personal attack. That one mindset shift gave her so much more peace and way better working relationships. And finally, let's talk about connection, the secret sauce of executive presence. Admins and EAs are often the most connected people in the company. You know who needs what, when, and why. But connection isn't just about information, it's about empathy. Do people feel seen, safe, and supported when you interact with them? Oxytocin, the hormone that builds trust, is released in moments of genuine interaction. You don't need a weekly team lunch to build connection. You just need to notice people. A quick, how are you really doing? Remembering someone's birthday. A simple, I got you, when a teammate is overwhelmed. Those moments build belonging, and that creates presence that lingers. One admin I know had a small ritual. Every Monday morning, she sent a welcome to the week message to her team. It wasn't fancy, just a sentence or two of encouragement. Her coworkers said it changed how they started their week because someone thought about them. Connection doesn't require charisma, it requires care. So let's bring it all together. Here's your executive presence prescription. I want you to lead with clarity, show up with capacity, deliver on commitment, think with curiosity. I want you to engage through connection, and remember, executive presence isn't about who talks the loudest. It's about who leads with the most intention, consistency, and care. You do not need permission or a promotion to grow your presence. You already have the foundation. You're the pulse of your organization. This is just your reminder to step into that power a little more boldly and a lot more consciously. So here's your one small step. Choose one C to focus on this week, just one. Maybe it's being clear in your next meeting recap, or building a pause before reacting to a surprise or last minute request, or following up on something small that shows you care. Small shifts lead to big signals, and your presence, it's not just professional, it's powerful. Thanks for being here, and thank you for being the steady presence that so many teams rely on. keep showing up, keep leading from where you are, and keep growing your presence one C at a time.